because something was about to happen that would change this man's life forever. You see, it was during his school days and his trips to the studio that he made a certain connection with a very renowned producer in the game.
Who that?
Not Nice.
Oh.
No, Not Nice is a
Not
man who
Nice.
rose to notoriety during the 2000s for his
Wagwan, you don't know it's a boy the Prodigy, and welcome back to the Prodigy ENT. So now to the reaction video, people. It's a video where me see on YouTube. Cause you don't know, say with the reaction video, we don't only react to music video and audio. We react to anything dancehall, anything music, anything have to do with the artist then. Any news that surround them, anything want go on, we react to it. You see me say, so I see this thing here. Dancehall 𝐑𝐄𝐀𝐂𝐓𝐈����. Big up yourself. If you shout out the dog. You see me I say, so Dancehall 𝐑𝐄𝐀𝐂𝐓𝐈𝐎�. Big up yourself. The dog dropped the video here. And the dog titled it How Alkaline Became Jamaica's Most Controversial Artist. You see me I say, that's the title. The video is 16 minutes long and I make a react to food. So what the data fans them do, make sure you know so down below in the comment section. You see me I say, and make sure you know so down below and watch the video see hear what the dog I say. You see me I say, and you know, facts check it dog. Cause me go there listen and I facts check him see. So without further ado, forward.
Erland Bartley, otherwise known as Alkaline, is easily the most controversial dancehall artist of all time. Being one of the first people in human history to ever claim that they tattooed their literal eyeballs.
Yes,
being the first Jamaican artist to ever sing about something like body wash, and most notably being the first and only young artist to ever challenge the king of dancehall himself, Vybz Kartel, to a battle for his throne, risking his career and life in the process. But contrary to what many would expect, Alkaline actually started out as a regular student of Arden High, whose intelligence was so high that he actually even ended up on school challenge quiz.
Good evening, Jamaica. My name is Erland Bartley.
So how did someone who once had such high academic aspirations end up becoming not only the youngest and the baddest, but also Jamaica's most controversial artist? Well, to understand why any of this even happened in the first place, we need to take it back to December 19, 1993, where Erland Bartley was born to his mother in Victoria Jubilee Hospital. Although he was always talented, he never truly discovered his passion for music until at the age of 14 he started writing lyrics, and at this point he started attending the famous Arden High, which is known for being the home of scholars. It was here that he would decide to make his talents public and let the world know that this was his passion.
And so I be a white people in other pitch there
and causing crowds to gather, and at this point all he needed was an artist's name. But thankfully, he had his sister for that. And so, the name Alkaline was born. Alkaline spent these years honing his craft and doing any and everything to get his name out there, with someone from his Arden year group at Arden even telling me personally that they remember Alkaline performing at every single school event that he got the chance to, and being one of the most hardworking individuals that they had ever seen, despite the fact that there were many people telling him directly, saying "Naga ever bust." But despite the haters, it was toward the end of high school that he would take his talents from the stage and put them in the studio, releasing his first ever official pieces of recorded material in 2011, the earliest of which available being a song that was a tribute to his friend that passed away. However, the first music video was called "Me Love Woman," which shows him in his Arden uniform seducing Arden girls. And then a song called "Reflections," which shows him again at Arden reflecting upon his life and high school experience.
Good morning, Erland. Good morning, Miss. I want you to write about your experience at Arden. Becoming here,
you know that song, yeah. If you don't know that song, yeah,
it was not a better fan. As Alkaline would go deeper into finding his sound, some people would begin spotting similarities to a certain artist. But more on that later in the video. After this, Alkaline would finish his education at Arden High, after which his mother would encourage him to go to the University of West Indies as a backup just in case music did not work out. He obliged and enrolled as a journalism, media and communication student. However, his time at UA would not last very long because something was about to happen that would change this man's life forever. You see, it was during his school days and his trips to the studio that he made a certain connection with a very renowned producer in the game.
Who that?
Not Nice.
Oh.
Now, Not Nice is a man who rose to notoriety during the 2000s for his close collaboration with the biggest artist in dancehall, Vybz Kartel, where the two of them came together from the record label known as the Portmore Empire, signing up-and-coming artists like Popcorn, Ja Vinci, and Tommy Lee Sparta. However, due to personal issues between the two, Not Nice and Vybz Kartel would end up falling out. And so, now that he was doing his own thing, his eyes were always open for new talent. And so, one day, when this young schoolboy from Arden just walked into his studio and started displaying his lyrical abilities, Not Nice was able to see the potential.
Not Nice, see talent.
However, he also saw some flaws in his style and gave him advice on what to work on.
I know Alkaline from school days, from him was school and he linked me out of the studio. But him flow never steady. Yeah. I said, no man, the flow won't work when I drop off a rhythm sometimes. But the lyrics they always dead. So I say, man, let's go and work on it.
Dog have lyrics long time.
Just call me.
The two would go on to hang out more often at his studio and even become friends. But that was until one day, Alkaline would mysteriously disappear. Nobody knew where he went, and Not Nice was puzzled as to why he hadn't heard from him in so long. Only for him one day on a random night to turn on the TV and see his young friend in front of the whole country on live television claiming that he had tattooed his eyeballs. Apparently, Alkaline was able to secure a spot on TV through a program called the Entertainment Report, or more specifically, On Stage, which is a program that features young artists like Alkaline in an attempt to give them
big up On
exposure.
Stage.
But Alkaline knew that many artists had been on this program before him, and if he just went up there to say, hey, check out my music, he would end up like everybody else. So he used this 15 seconds of spotlight that he was given and pushed it to the absolute max, starting an entire controversy that would last for the better part of the next couple of years, that had the whole country in debate of whether or not somebody would actually be crazy enough to tattoo their literal eyeballs. It was after this insane interview that literally as soon as Alkaline left the stage, he instantly called Not Nice after having not spoken in a good while and asked him if he could meet up. It was shortly after that him and his two managers arrived at Not Nice's studio, where Alkaline would share his predicament. You see, that night, he had just now burst open the floodgates of attention. Yeah. And at this point, he had gone from being a regular student to somebody who every media outlet was reaching out to for an interview about his eyes. However, the problem was that while he was getting all this attention for his tattoos, he didn't have any new songs that he felt were worthy of pushing to the mainstream. And the few high school tracks he made earlier were not going to cut it. And so he wanted Not Nice as a producer to help
Dog
him
needed something professional.
And of course, being a good friend who believed in his
music,
talent,
you know them way
Not
there.
Nice got straight to work. And he had an idea. You see, the hottest song at the time was a song by female artist Maka Diamond called Die Die, which featured a very specific kind of rhythm and flow. Not Nice figured that if he could simply recreate this in some type of way with Alkaline's unique twist, the song could go far. And so the song, Things My Love, was made in May of 2013. After the song was released, their strategy was that if they could have their people in the streets ensuring that the song was played in every party before Die Die or after Die Die, eventually the song would have a buzz. Unfortunately though, this plan ended up going absolutely sideways. The reason why is because despite being paid, the selectors in the parties were not showing the song the love that it needed. It would get played occasionally, but not in the way that it was intended. And it was clear that they did not believe in the song. However, Not Nice did, and so he decided that it was time for him to make a step in the road himself. After ensuring that the song was played by any means necessary, the people started to gravitate toward the song, but they also started to associate Alkaline as Not Nice's personal artist. It was through the usage of his name as a producer that he was able to get the majority of selectors to play Alkaline's music, despite him being a relatively small artist. And shortly after, Alkaline would release the official music video for the song. He would also go on to drop other songs like 1, 2, 3 and More Than a Friend. And after getting his music played on a regular basis, he started getting booked for stage shows, where Not Nice would accompany him to ensure that everything went smoothly. It was also around this time that Alkaline and his management would end up falling out. And Not Nice ended up taking on many of his managerial responsibilities upon himself. But he didn't have an issue because he genuinely believed in Alkaline's talent. As time would pass, Alkaline's name would only continue to grow. As his songs were getting played a lot, he was performing in all kinds of places, and most importantly, the controversy surrounding his eyes was continuing to grow. But he would explode to a whole new level when the fan base that he was growing would receive a new video from him in February of 2014. Almost a full year after the initial onstage interview about his eyes. The song, Move Mountains, which was a part 2 to his breakout song, 𝐑𝐄𝐀𝐂𝐓𝐈𝐎𝐍. And this song went absolutely crazy, especially since it was released on Valentine's Day. You would have had to have been living under a rock to not know the iconic I have a penis for your vagina hole. And from there, his career only skyrocketed. But Alkaline did something in this song that nobody expected, nor did they know what it meant. Even though it had just turned 2014, he randomly, for whatever reason, decided to say at the start of the song, 2016. This was a trend that he would continue in the next song he would release, which would coincidentally happen to be one of his most controversial records of all time. So controversial, in fact, that people still bring it up and make reference about it to this day, as he was the first Jamaican artist in history to ever say something this wild on a song. On February 21, 2014, just 1 week after Move Mountains was released, Alkaline would release his next song afterwards, called FU 2016 Raw. And in this song, where he would make reference to 2016 again, he would also state the very controversial lyric.
You know the Alkaline there?
Me ask you, G, like, what started all of this?
He told you?
Him not know neither.
A lot of people were both very offended and very confused by this lyric, with one half of the crowd accusing Alkaline of being a fish, and the other half either saying that there must be some confusion with the lyric, or just flat out saying that regardless, what he wants to do in the bedroom with his woman is his business. Regardless though, the controversy only served to make him even bigger, and that poured even more fuel onto the song that was released prior, causing Move Mountains to only become that much more popular. And to make matters worse, instead of bending and folding to the public opinion, Alkaline would actually add even more fuel to the fire by releasing another song just 3 weeks later called Too Real, where he would directly address the situation about the body wash and tell everybody hating on him for the lyric for go suck out their mother, brawling. Now, whether or not this was a marketing strategy or Alkaline was just genuinely sharing his interest, we will probably never know. However, in the midst of all of this controversy, there was another controversy brewing at the exact same time. Far more controversial than the body wash lyric. So controversial, in fact, that it is still the main controversy that people are still talking about and obsessed with to this very day. Remember how I said that the Brata song was released exactly 1 week after Move Mountains? Well, the very next day after he released that song, Alkaline went back on stage for another interview. And in this interview, Alkaline would be asked a question that would change the trajectory of his career and life forever. His opinion on the legendary artist Vybz Kartel.
Run it!
Again, I must ask you in the first interview whether if you're inspired by the world boss Kartel.
I'm inspired?
Yes.
I'm inspired by
people. You say he
people.
wasn't special to you.
I'm inspired by
that's
people.
That's what you said there.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Do you want to take that back? Or?
No, I'm going to take back nothing.
Have you revised that?
No.
You don't?
You want him on revise Winford?
What do you want me to say?
That you're borrowing a few things from him.
When me borrow.
Such as your...
Me know my own clothes, me know everything.
Your...
Yeah.
Okay.
Disrespectful Winford.
Give me that one.
Yeah,
but he's courageous in terms of his bleaching and accepting that he bleaches. You've done your eyeball and you accept and willingly say you did, and you did it. I'm just asking a question. If you're inspired at all by the great 𝐑𝐄𝐀𝐂𝐓𝐿.
We're not inspired by boys.
Not at all. He's just like a normal, everyday artist.
No, man. He's a great artist, man. Don't get me wrong, man.
Yeah.
I respect him just like I respect every other artist in dancehall. Because I don't want people to feel like, say, oh, you tolerate nobody. No, man. I respect everybody in the dancehall space, you know, but people just want me to, I don't know.
This question was asked because, like
They
I
want
mentioned
him to say
earlier
Gaza.
in the video,
We're not
from the
upon
very
that.
start, people were pointing out that Alkaline had many similarities to 𝐑𝐄𝐀𝐂𝐓𝐿 in the way that he moved, dressed, spoke, and even in some of the songs that he would make.
I'm in love with the female persuasion.
Indian
Chinese,
and Caucasian.
So many similarities, in fact, that in the very first on-stage interview Alkaline did, the one where nobody knew him and he revealed his tattooed eyes for the first time, he was actually asked this very same question. And this is what Winford said upon meeting him for the first time.
Yeah. Is 𝐑𝐿 a mentor of yours?
No, I wouldn't say I have a favorite artist.
Yes.
No.
But how you feel about 𝐑𝐿?
How I feel about
he's
𝐑𝐿?
coming to mind every time I hear you talk.
I don't really feel anything about any men, you know, because
Yeah.
that's kind of sound emotional.
Why
I
Winford?
respect 𝐑𝐿 as an entertainer, just like I respect every other entertainer in the business. Yeah.
No special respect for 𝐑𝐿?
Not necessarily. I respect everybody, man.
But nobody knew who he was back then, so his answer didn't start any controversy or really matter at all. However, that was definitely not the case this time around, and people were furious, saying that even though Alkaline did not directly disrespect 𝐑𝐄𝐀𝐂𝐓𝐿, he was still supposedly being disrespectful by allegedly taking Adidja Palmer's style while pretending that he was just another artist. Keep in mind that this was also around the time where it was customary for every artist to basically worship the ground that 𝐑𝐄𝐀𝐂𝐓𝐿 walked on. Every artist listed him as some type of inspiration, even if they were absolutely nothing alike. So to see this newcomer, who was arguably the most blatant resemblance of 𝐑𝐿, being the one person to not pay him any respect, really shocked people. And this series of events produced the start of a legendary beef that would forever change the course of the entire genre of dancehall, generating hundreds of millions of views, streams, shifting the culture, and affecting an entire generation of youth. If you want to hear about the full story of Alkaline's insane rivalry with 𝐑𝐄𝐀𝐂𝐓𝐿 and how he went on to take over the entirety of 2016 after having predicted it for years, click the video on your screen right now. And if it's not out yet, subscribe to the channel for when it drops. And as always, the dancehall has been decoded.
I guess I that enough people. You see what I say? So this is how Alkaline became Jamaica's most controversial artist. What do you think? The dog speaks some facts. What do you think? The part of me not know if I true is when him say Knock Nice did a Alkaline manager. I don't know what truth that is or no. Facts check that and make me know down below in the comment section. You see me? Dancehall decode it, big up yourself. Respect for your video, dog. You see me I say? This is boy the Prodigy. If you like this reaction video and want to see more reaction video, make sure you son a like, comment, share. Do not forget to subscribe. It's boy the Prodigy. I'm out.
Cause me know things I forget better. Me know, so me did born great. From me know, so you is a go-getter. Work hard, have faith and pray. Them can't fight me, them can't hold me back. Me not ever put my nose to crack. I'ma not drop me gear, I fi load my Glock. Cause mommy never raise no fool. A couple million me want, so me start the cash. You better go for what you want and stop relax. Nobody wait till the wall is against your back. Me see my grandmother words come true. Jah, please protect me and don't make them get my soul. Keep the evil from around me and don't make them get control. Cause me know things I forget better. Me know, so me did born great. From me know, so you is a go